You know what? There is nothing more heartbreaking than walking into your garden in June, seeing a burst of beautiful yellow tomato flowers, and then watching them drop to the dirt like snowflakes. Believe it or not, I used to lose half my harvest this exact way. But here is the thing. Those empty flowers aren't just bad luck. It is your tomato plant screaming for a very specific diet. Today, I am going to show you the exact June fertilization schedule that forces those flowers to turn into heavy, juicy, red tomatoes. First, let us understand the June tomato crisis. When the summer heat arrives, your plant goes into a panic survival mode to stay alive. Honestly, it is amazing. If the plant feels it lacks the exact right fuel, it simply aborts the flowers to save its own energy. Many folks panic and throw random fertilizer at the base. But hold on. That is the worst mistake you can possibly make. Our little underground friends know the truth. Giving the wrong nutrients in June actually causes more blossom drop than doing absolutely nothing at all. June is a critical transition month. Your tomato plant is actively switching from its leafy growth state straight into its heavy fruit production phase. And get this, if you keep feeding it like it is still May, the plant will only grow lush green leaves and zero tomatoes. We call this the dreaded blossom drop. The tiny stem of the flower literally forms a weak layer and detaches from the main branch. To put that in perspective, imagine trying to hold a heavy weight with a broken string. The plant just lets the flower go completely. But do not worry, we can stop this easily. We just need to give the plant the specific chemical blue it is desperately missing. Your plant needs a balanced diet, but it requires two very specific secret elements to lock those beautiful yellow flowers onto the sturdy stems. And then something incredible happens. Those fragile flowers stay put, the fruit sets perfectly, and you will soon be harvesting heavy baskets of tomatoes. Now listen up, folks. The biggest trap I see every June is what I call the nitrogen trap. It destroys more potential harvests than pests ever could. You see, nitrogen is fantastic for growing lush, beautiful green leaves. In May, that is exactly what your baby tomato plant needs to build a strong frame. But here is the thing. If you keep pouring high nitrogen fertilizer on the soil in June, the plant gets incredibly confused about its life purpose. It thinks, well, if I have all this food for leaves, I will just keep making leaves. It completely forgets that it is supposed to make babies. Picture this. It is like a bodybuilder who only works on their arms, but forgets to build the core strength needed to actually hold anything heavy. And get this, down in the soil, the roots become lazy. They stay near the surface because the nitrogen is so easy to grab, making them weak. I have been gardening for over 60 years, and let me tell you, shifting the diet from May to June is the most crucial step of all. When the calendar flips to June, your plant needs to stop focusing on the green foliage and put 100% of its energy into those yellow flowers. If the leaves get too massive, they actually create a dark canopy. They block the crucial sunlight from reaching the flowers, hiding down below in the branches. Without proper sunlight and airflow, the humidity builds up. The pollen inside those flowers gets sticky and heavy, making pollination absolutely impossible for the poor plant. So, the unpollinated flower just gives up. It dries up right on the stem and drops off, leaving you with a massive green bush of absolute nothingness. To put that in perspective, I once saw a neighbor's plant reach 7 FFT tall, beautifully green, but it did not produce a single red tomato. So what is the secret? You must drastically cut back on the nitrogen in June. You want to shift the balance towards phosphorus and potassium instead. Phosphorus builds the strong root system and develops the blossoms, while potassium is the immune system that prepares the plant for the intense summer heat ahead. But wait, hold on. Even with the perfect NPK balance, the flowers might still drop if you are missing two vital micronutrients. Let me show you. Let me tell you a little secret. Calcium and boron are the two magical elements your tomato plants desperately need in June to hold on to their beautiful flowers. Think of calcium as the heavy-duty biological glue. It physically builds the strong cell walls in that tiny green stem, so the flower cannot snap off easily. But here is the thing, even if your garden soil is packed with calcium, the intense June summer heat makes it incredibly hard for roots to absorb it. So we need a fast-acting organic solution, and you do not need to buy anything. Just save your morning eggshells, which are basically pure 95% calcium. Now, do not just throw whole shells into the dirt. To make the calcium instantly available, crush them into a fine powder and soak them in some apple cider vinegar. When the bubbling stops, you have created a powerful liquid calcium extract for exactly $0. Dilute this with water and give it to your struggling plants. But wait, calcium alone is not enough. It needs a reliable transporter to carry it all the way up the tall stem to those delicate yellow flowers. That is exactly where our second secret element comes in: boron. Without boron, the calcium just gets stuck in the leaves and never reaches the developing blossoms. Picture boron as the dedicated delivery truck that grabs the calcium from the roots and drives it straight up into the flower joints where it is needed most. You can easily find organic boron in liquid kelp extract or by dissolving a tiny pinch of natural borax powder into a large watering can. When you apply this magical combination to the roots, the plant immediately recognizes that it finally has the exact building blocks required for heavy fruit production. Down in the rich, dark soil, the roots eagerly drink up the liquid calcium and boron, sending a powerful surge of energy rushing up the main green stalk. Within just a few short days, you will visually notice the tiny, weak abscission zone on the flower stem thickening up and turning into a robust, unbreakable branch. I have seen plants that were dropping every single flower suddenly lock them all in tight just 48 hours after receiving this simple organic nutrient boost. Those gorgeous yellow petals will dry up naturally, and instead of falling empty, they will reveal a perfect, firm little green tomato growing right in the center. Now let me give you the exact step-by-step June schedule. Grab a pen because this simple routine will absolutely transform your entire summer harvest. In the first week of June, completely stop the high nitrogen liquid fertilizers. Instead, top-dress the soil with a rich layer of organic bone meal. Our little underground friends love this. Bone meal provides a massive boost of slow-release phosphorus, telling the roots it is time to build strong flowers. Then right around the second week of June, when you see those yellow buds opening, it is time for our secret calcium and boron mix. Apply that organic eggshell and kelp liquid directly to the base. The roots will drink it up, creating that biological glue we talked about earlier. By the third week, you should step back and just observe. The magic is happening inside those blossoms, and they need a moment of peace. You will see the yellow petals drying up, and those beautiful tiny green tomatoes will emerge perfectly locked onto their incredibly strong and thick stems. During this critical fruit-setting window, our soil friends are working overtime. You only need to provide consistent moisture without adding any extra heavy fertilizers. Believe it or not, hitting them with more fertilizer right now can shock the plant and cause it to drop the tiny fruits it just made. Just keep that beautiful balance. Remember the golden rule for June. Keep nitrogen incredibly low while maintaining high phosphorus and a steady supply of potassium. If your plants look a little stressed from the intense summer heat, you can give them a gentle drink of organic compost tea at sunset. This is not a heavy food, but a massive injection of beneficial microbes. It helps the roots absorb the nutrients already sitting in the soil. Down below, the microbial life explodes. They break down the bone meal and compost, feeding the tomato plant exactly what it needs right on demand. Stick to this simple June routine, folks. Stop the nitrogen, add the bone meal, apply the calcium boron glue, and let nature do the heavy lifting. Before the month is over, you will have branches so heavy with perfect green tomatoes that you might actually need to add some extra wooden supports. Now listen closely, folks. None of this magical fertilization matters at all if you forget the final puzzle piece. Your plant needs deep, consistent watering. Think about it. Nutrients cannot travel through dry dirt. If the soil is completely parched, that organic bone meal just sits there doing absolutely nothing. Down in the dirt, our little underground friends get completely stuck. The roots physically cannot absorb the calcium and boron without moisture acting as the carrier. But please, whatever you do, stop watering the leaves. You need to deliver that water straight to the base, giving the roots a deep, heavy soak. When you water deeply 2 or 3 times a week, you encourage those roots to drive further down into the cooler earth, finding hidden nutrients. As the deep moisture spreads, it dissolves all that rich phosphorus and potassium, creating a perfect liquid feast that rushes straight up the main stalk. And to lock all that beautiful moisture inside the earth, you absolutely must apply a thick, protective blanket of organic mulch right over the top. A solid 3-in layer of clean straw or dried leaves acts exactly like a giant natural umbrella, shielding your delicate soil from the scorching summer sun. This simple trick keeps the underground temperature perfectly cool. The earthworms thrive, the beneficial microbes multiply, and your plant avoids total heat exhaustion during June. So remember the golden rule: adjust the diet, water deeply at the base, and add that thick mulch. It is truly that simple, my friends. Before you know it, those fragile yellow blossoms will transform. They will swell up into massive, heavy green fruits and eventually ripen into glorious red tomatoes. I guarantee you, if you follow this exact June schedule, you will be hauling in the biggest, juiciest harvest your neighborhood has ever seen this year. There is simply nothing better than slicing into a perfectly ripe, homegrown summer tomato that you nurtured with your own two hands and organic practices. Well, that is all the time we have for today. If this garden secret helped you out, please subscribe and share it with a fellow gardener. Until next time, keep your hands dirty, keep learning from nature, and may your summer garden be blessed with absolute abundance. Happy gardening to you all. If these gardening secrets change the way you look at your tomato harvest, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the natural wisdom that has been hidden for generations. Let's grow a better future together. Your next gardening treasure will be revealed soon.